Hello, it's Eazytarget coming back at you with another Diablo 3 Challenge Rift video. This is Challenge Rift week 93. And as you can see on screen, we have a Necromancer. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out, and I make these videos weekly, so you can come back and check them out. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump on into the game and see what we're working with. Alright, starting off, we have Army of the Dead, Revive, Command Skeletons, Command Golem, Bone Spikes, Skeletal Mage. For the passives, we have Swift Harvesting, Extended Servitude, Overwhelming Essence, and Life from Death. Let's take a quick look at the gear. Looks like we have the Rathmas set. Looks like some random legendaries, besides the extra Skeletal Mage, whatever, with your ring here, and your standard convention of elements to increase damage on a specific element. But let's go ahead and see how we're going to use this build. Alright, and this is how I'm going to use the abilities here. I'm going to go through the levels, and then I'm going to be going, once I get to the first stack of enemies, I'm going to let my pets go ahead and attack them for a second. Just go ahead and get my defensive armor built up. It stacks up to 50. And that's how I'm going to prevent myself from dying really easy. And then I'm going to go ahead and start casting my skeletal mages. You can have up to 10 skeletal mages, so you want to go ahead and use your resources wisely. If you're using your bone spikes, you can go ahead and get some of your resources back, so you can just try to keep your skeletal mages maxed out at 10 all the way through. So once you start getting them up there and there's enemies on here, you can just cast some bone spikes, and then you can cast a skeletal mage just to go ahead and try to get that 10 stack all the time. And then you can also, just like I did right there, you can use the revive on all the corpse on the ground, and then you can go ahead and get 10 more guys to go ahead and attack for you, and they attack for a little bit more damage. One key note I do want to say is you do want to go ahead and use your Army of the Dead, but just go ahead and save that for the elites, maybe the yellow elites. Use it as much as you can whenever it's off of cooldown, but you definitely want to save it for the Rift Guardian. So as long as it's there, go ahead and use it. And if you can remember, then go ahead and use the Command Skeletons and the Command Golem. It just helps out and get through a little bit faster. But just to get through the levels, you don't really need to use those things. You can just go through and worry about your spikes, just to get your resources back, and your skeletal mages, try to keep them up at 10. The more skeletal mages that you have out there, the more damage your other minions are going to be doing. So keep that in mind whenever you're going through, and just try to keep them up to 10. You do have 2 buffs down there, so you want to go ahead and not get confused with the one that stays around 10 all the time, because whenever your skeletal mages are hitting, it gets this speed increase, and it stacks up to 10. So as long as there's a skeletal mage out there hitting, it just keeps stacking and stacking and stacking, and you may get that confused with how many skeletal mages you have out there. But other than that, let's go ahead and get into the Rift and see how I can do. Alright, starting off this Rift, you do want to go ahead and start casting your skeletal mages and use your bone spikes to go ahead and get your resource back right off the bat. You don't want to just stand there and get those 50 stacks for your damage reduction. And then you want to go ahead and get over to this first elite here and use your Army of the Dead on them. So do go ahead and use that. I would save it for maybe the first one there, just to get things rolling, and then the yellow elites possibly. Or just whenever it's off cooldown, just wait for the end of the Rift. Whenever you're getting close, make sure that you save it for the Rift Guardian. I accidentally messed up and didn't save it for the very last boss. So you can get them down a lot quicker if you save it for the Rift Guardian, because the normal elites go down pretty quickly. The Rift Guardian gives you a little bit of a problem, so saving it there would be a really good idea. The Command Golem and the Command Skeletons, you can just use those at will whenever you can, but do try to pick up some of the dead corpses and get them some more enemies out there, some more minions out there for you, because they'll just be ticking away at the enemies and just clearing stuff on screen. If you go about the map and try to go on the outside of the map, try to stay and try to cover as much area as you can while you're pushing through, so your pets can just go ahead and clear some things on the screen. If you stay off to one side or whatnot, and you don't clear or open up part of the section to where the enemies will run at you, then your pets won't attack them, and then you won't clear it. So the more that you're clearing as you're running through, the better and the faster that the Rift will be completed. So then on here, you're just going from elite to elite. It should take about 3 floors, and then you should be able to finish it out. It's not that bad. As long as you get that 50 stack up at the beginning, get your damage reduction. If you do die and you lose that, you can die very easily. So you do want to keep track of that. If you do die, you want to run away from the mobs and not be in there like I am right now, venturing ahead like that. And you should be good to go. Other than that, this is Eazytarget. Hopefully this has helped you out, and I'm out.